There are just a few differences between the Echo Dot and Echo Pop, but they are significant enough to affect which one you should purchase. Now, one thing to note about this video is that we'll be focusing mostly on the differences between the Echo Dot 5th generation and the Echo Pop, with previous models being stated specifically when they're important. The first difference is price, with the Echo Pop coming in at $40 and the Echo Dot starting at $50. However, the Echo Dot has options for a version with a clock, and there's also a kid version too. Both of those increase the price for $10 with the clock version, just getting a clock that can read a few things out, and the kids version getting a year of Amazon's kid electronic management service called Kids Plus. Oh, and the kids version looks a bit different too. The Echo Pop has a 1.95-inch front-facing driver, while the Echo Dot has a 1.73-inch front-facing driver, but there's a fuller sound experience that you're going to get out of the Echo Dot, and it's a little less directional as a speaker. The Echo Pop really sounds different when you point it away. So despite the size difference, it's actually a more capable speaker in the Dot. Now if you go back to the 3rd generation Echo Dot with that hockey puck design, you should expect a much better sound experience from the Echo Pop. One other difference is if you go back to the 4th generation Echo Dot or earlier, those models had a 3.5mm audio connection port for use with other speakers, so you could play to those instead of the relatively inferior speaker on those Dots. You will find that the Echo Dot is slightly louder too, and when we add in something like the full-sized Echo 4th generation, you can see that power increase again. Otherwise, the music experience between all of those speakers is exactly the same because you can play from all the same services over your Wi-Fi, you can group and play that music over all of your speakers, or you can choose to just use Bluetooth to play to one of your Echo speakers. The form factor is a half moon on the Pop, and you will find that the Pop can be pushed over a little easier than a Dot, but for the most part, Amazon's done a good job at making sure you don't knock over that speaker too easily. There are also 2 new colors that haven't made their way to the Echo Dot as of today, so if you're looking for a little more color in your space, then the Pop is the way to go. The speakers are basically the same size though, if you're following Amazon's measurements. One's just a globe and one's not. Other physical changes include the fact that there's no action button on the Pop, which is something we've had on every Echo speaker to date. That allows you to trigger the voice assistant without saying one of the wake words. I thought this was a useful button, but apparently Amazon no longer thinks that. The light on top of the Echo Pop has been moved from the bottom of the Echo Dot, and I've noticed that it moves a little quicker when pulsing, so it's smaller and less pronounced on the Pop, but you get brightness controls these days, so you can make that look however you'd like. From a smart home perspective, there are a few differences that are important to note. The Echo Dot 5th generation contains both a motion sensing feature and a temperature sensor for use in Amazon's routines, meaning you could start smart heaters, fans, AC units based on temperature. The motion sensor uses ultrasonic detection, which doesn't always work but does tend to work better in smaller spaces. The Pop has neither of these, so it really doesn't have options to start Amazon routines. Otherwise, there's a lot of similarity between these speakers and pretty much everything else is the same. In the world of smart homes, they both have access to exactly the same number of smart home products sold today, and they both can do exactly the same thing with them, other than those 2 sensors on the Dot. You have to step up to the Echo 4th generation to start seeing some differences, with Thread and Zigbee showing up on that model. Both of these speakers use Amazon Sidewalk to allow some products to communicate even when the Wi-Fi is out. And speaking of Wi-Fi, both of these can act as an Eero Wi-Fi extender if you have any of those Wi-Fi mesh systems. That's a great feature for some folks, but it doesn't provide a lot of speed when used. Both use Amazon's voice assistant and the Miss A application. They both set up in the same way and give us the same options in their device controls and settings page. So from my perspective, you're going to want the Dot and to spend the extra few bucks based on form factor, the speaker depth, and those couple of smart home sensors. Otherwise, you can save money and get a different color Echo Pop for every room. Check out our other smart gear comparison videos on screen now. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, don't hate, automate.